GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Here are our top stories.
The Ville-Marie borough has unveiled a revitalization plan for Montreal's Chinatown, deploying a dedicated cleaning crew and establishing a local alliance to address the area's recent economic and physical decline. Antoine Prévost has the full story.
Officials from the Ville-Marie borough unveiled a fresh push to breathe new life into Montreal's historic Chinatown. The plan rolls out a dedicated cleaning crew to sweep streets, clear graffiti, and restore storefront facades, while a newly formed local alliance will bring together business owners, community groups, and cultural organizations to coordinate events and promotional activities. City staff say the effort aims to reverse years of economic slowdown and visible neglect that have taken a toll on the neighborhood's vibrancy. Funding earmarked for the initiative will cover immediate sanitation work and support the alliance's programming over the coming months. Residents and merchants hope the combined cleanup and community drive will attract visitors and spark renewed investment. Antoine Prévost, GMNA News, Chinatown.
Mayor Soria Martinez Ferrada announced today that the Communauté Métropolitaine de Montreal has asked the provincial government for help creating a flood risk map, covering every building in flood-prone zones. Officials say the map will guide land use decisions and emergency planning as heavy rain storms increasingly flood streets across the island. Quebec's Ministry of Sustainable Development is reviewing the proposal, with inter-agency teams set to begin field assessments within weeks. The effort follows recent downpours that triggered street flooding in several boroughs, prompting city leaders to prioritize accurate risk identification. The collaboration remains ongoing as data collection progresses. The CMM will work with boroughs to embed the map into zoning bylaws, and Quebec has pledged funding and technical expertise under its climate adaptation plan. Residents in flood-prone neighborhoods are being urged to monitor weather alerts as the mapping project proceeds.
Police in Montreal have issued photographs of a suspect as part of an ongoing investigation into an attempted murder. The case centers on a 49-year-old man who was found on August 4 with injuries inflicted by a sharp object. Authorities say the nature of the wounds indicates an intentional attack, prompting a homicide-type inquiry. The images released by the Montreal Police Department are intended to aid in locating the individual believed to be responsible. The investigation remains active, and officials have confirmed that the suspect's identity has not yet been established. No further details have been disclosed at this time. This development follows standard procedure for serious violent crimes in the province of Quebec, where law enforcement agencies routinely publicize suspect information to solicit public awareness.
British tennis star Jack Draper fell in his first National Bank Open match in Montreal on August 4th, ending his comeback attempt as lingering physical issues persist. Simon Fortier has the full story.
Jack Draper fell in his opening match of the National Bank Open, bowing out after just one set on the hard courts of Montreal. The British former world number 4, who has been sidelined by lingering physical issues, returned to the tour hoping to gauge his form. Instead, a series of unforced errors and a bruised shoulder forced him to retire early, handing his opponent a straight sets victory. The loss marks his first competitive appearance since stepping away for treatment and underscores how far the injury setbacks have set him back. Spectators watched as Draper's serve lost its usual snap, a clear sign the comeback is still a work in progress. Simon Fortier, GMNA News, Montreal.
Denis Shapovalov was forced to retire in the third set of his opening round match against American qualifier Zachary Svajda at today's Canadian Open in Montreal. The Canadian star cited a persistent shoulder strain, ending the contest after 2 tightly contested sets. Svajda moved on to the quarterfinals, where he will face the tournament's rising Asian contender Chan, who is on the brink of a major upset after dispatching a seeded opponent in straight sets. Chan's aggressive baseline play has drawn attention, and his next match could deliver one of the week's most surprising results. Tournament officials confirmed the retirement and will adjust the draw accordingly. The early exit of Shapovalov, a former top 10 player, reshapes the men's singles field as the event progresses. Canadian fans expressed disappointment as the nation's top male hopeful bowed out.
Later, we'll hear how Pierrefonds Roxborough residents are protesting the flood response and what officials plan to do. We will be right back.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news. Welcome back. Yesterday evening, dozens of residents assembled in the Pierrefonds Roxborough borough to press city officials for answers on the municipality's flood response strategy. The gathering, organized by a local neighborhood association, turned into a vocal protest after a series of high water events over the past few years left many homes and basements damaged. City representatives from the Public Works Department arrived but faced pointed questions about drainage upgrades, emergency alerts, and compensation for property loss. Protesters unfurled banners calling for a transparent timeline and faster repairs, while some residents recounted personal stories of water-filled basements and ruined belongings. The demonstration underscored growing frustration with what many describe as inadequate municipal flood management, and officials pledged to review the borough's infrastructure plan within the coming weeks. Borough Mayor Sylvain Tremblay, who attended the meeting, said the council would allocate additional resources for immediate repairs.
Organizers of Montreal's Isle Sonic Festival have mandated transparent bags only, sparking online criticism from ticket holders ahead of the summer event. Simon Fortier has the full story.
Organizers of the Isle Sonic Music Festival have just rolled out a new bag policy, allowing only clear, transparent bags inside the venue. The rule, announced late Wednesday, has sparked a wave of criticism across social media, with many ticket holders calling the restriction inconvenient and unnecessary. Festival officials say the measure is meant to speed up security checks and keep the grounds safe, but attendees argue it adds extra hassle for families and festival goers carrying essentials. Isle Sonic, one of Montreal's biggest summer gatherings, typically draws thousands of music lovers each year, and the sudden change has left many questioning now the timing of the announcement. Simon Fortier, GMNA News, Isle Sonic.
An emergency ruling from the Quebec Superior Court will temporarily restore Air Liaison's status as an authorized carrier under the province's Regional Air Access Program. The court's decision, expected later today, follows a government move that stripped the airline of its carrier designation after officials accused it of submitting false declarations. Under the subsidy scheme, eligible regional carriers receive financial support to maintain service to remote communities, and Air Liaison's suspension has left several northern routes without the promised assistance. By reinstating the airline on a provisional basis, the judge aims to preserve continuity of essential air links while the underlying allegations are examined in a full hearing. The temporary measure remains subject to further judicial review, and the Quebec government has indicated it will comply with the court's order pending a final determination.
Police in Quebec have called in the Canadian Armed Forces to neutralize a suspected grenade uncovered at a campground in the Montreal region. The Sûreté du Québec reported that officers discovered the device early this morning and immediately requested military bomb disposal support. Soldiers from a nearby base arrived within hours and are now working alongside provincial bomb technicians to render the area safe. The operation remains underway, with a cordon established around the site and nearby trails closed to the public. Officials said the presence of a live explosive poses a serious risk, prompting the unprecedented cooperation between civil police and the armed forces. No injuries have been reported, and authorities are urging anyone in the vicinity to stay clear while the threat is assessed and neutralized as soon as possible.
A French national's Quebec work permit was revoked after he returned from his daughter's funeral, citing provincial rules that require continuous residence. Immigration lawyers argue the policy needs reform. Camille Dowsett has the full story.
Authorities in Quebec have cancelled the work permit of a French national after he returned from his daughter's funeral. The man, who had been employed in the province, left Quebec for several days to attend the burial in his hometown abroad. Under provincial immigration rules, any permit holder who is absent from the province for an extended period automatically loses the authorization to work. Immigration lawyers say the regulation is overly strict, especially when the absence is for a family tragedy, and they are urging a revision. The revocation took effect shortly after the man re-entered Quebec on Tuesday, August 4, 2026. The case has drawn attention to the balance between residency requirements and compassionate circumstances. Camille Dowsett, GMNA News, Montreal.
Now let's check the forecast and see what tonight's weather has in store for us.
A westward jet now squeezes moisture out, leaving Montreal under a dry, high-pressure blanket tonight. On this date, Montreal once scorched at 32.2 degrees Celsius in 2016, a record set during an unprecedented summer heat wave that pushed the entire province into triple-digit Fahrenheit territory. Conversely, the coldest reading fell to 13.7 degrees Celsius in 2019, when a deep Arctic surge slipped south and blanketed the city in an early autumn freeze. The climate normals for August show an average high around 27 and an average low near 17, so today's temperatures sit squarely within the long-term range. The live radar shows a blank canvas across southern Quebec. No rain echoes from the St. Lawrence, and the echo return is essentially zero. A weak, westward jet at 63 kilometers per hour is steering any residual moisture north of the province, while the high-pressure ridge is rising, suppressing lift. With the atmosphere locked in stability, precipitation will not touch the city tonight. I now turn to the overnight outlook. At 11 p.m. Montreal sits under a clear sky with 21 degrees Celsius, humidity 77%, and a light breeze from the southwest, gusting to 21 kilometers per hour. Pressure is near average but nudging upward, sealing in a dome of dry, sinking air that will dominate the night. A westward jet at 63 kilometers per hour crowns the mid-levels, steering any stray moisture far to the north and reinforcing the ridge. With the ridge strengthening, clouds will stay thin and temperatures will dip only to 17 by sunrise. The UV index reads 7, and wind will peak at 27 kilometers per hour from the southwest, feeling brisk on exposed surfaces. No weather alerts are in effect. That brings us to the 5-day outlook. Wednesday opens with a dry high of 28 and a low near 17, the sky remaining clear as the ridge persists. Thursday's ridge will weaken, allowing a moist southerly flow that brings a 50% chance of rain. Highs stay at 28 while lows rise to 21, creating the first noticeable nighttime warmth of the stretch. Friday follows an overcast shield, 45% rain odds and a high of 28, but the low climbs to 22, keeping nighttime temperatures mild. Saturday returns a solid rain band with the same 45% probability and a high of 25, dipping to a low of 21 as showers linger. Sunday finally clears, delivering a pleasant high of 26 and a low of 19, ending the week on a sunny note. And that's your weather. Remember, the wrap is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up, traffic updates, tonight's on-screen lineup and a look at our Canadians in season, plus more. We will be right back.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
And now here's Jason with sports.
The Canadians are building something real, and the pipeline is loaded. Montreal has signed defenseman Maximilian Schubert to a one-year, two-way contract for the 2026-27 season. Schubert came to the Canadiens in a trade that sent Joshua Roy to Utah. A two-way deal puts him in competition to earn his spot. This is a depth addition with something to prove. The Canadiens squeaked into the playoffs on the final day of 2024-25, then turned it around last season, winning significantly more than they lost despite goaltending struggles in November. Now the annual top 25 under 25 rankings land, and with graduates out and newcomers in, this pipeline is being stress-tested. Jacob Dobish is back in Montreal and he is not shy about what he is here for. The goaltender says he has 4 years ahead of him dedicated to one goal, winning the Stanley Cup. That kind of conviction from between the pipes matters. The Canadiens need their netminder locked in, and he sounds exactly that.
Welcome back. Heavy rain from a regional storm system has caused flooding and a landslide in L'Ascension, Laurentides, leaving roads impassable and residents displaced. The situation remains ongoing. Simon Fortier has the full story.
Early August 2026, rising waters have turned L'Ascension's main road into a rushing channel, forcing residents to abandon homes along the riverbank. Mudslides have ripped through the hillside behind the elementary school, crushing a parked car and snapping power lines that now leave the neighborhood in darkness. Emergency crews arrived late Sunday morning, deploying sandbags and portable pumps as the torrent continues to swell. Officials say the deluge stems from a series of intense storms that have hammered the Laurentides region for the past several days, with rain totals far exceeding normal August levels. The same system has already battered towns from Saint Jean to Saint Anne, leaving dozens of families displaced. Cleanup and rescue efforts are expected to continue through the week. Simon Fortier, GMNA News, L'Ascension.
Gabriel Diallo and Gaël Monfils have moved into the second round of the Open Bank National at Stade IGA, with Diallo notching his first tour-level victory on home soil. Simon Fortier has the full story.
Gabriel Diallo clinched his first tour-level victory on home soil, beating a seasoned opponent in straight sets to move into the second round of the Open Bank National. Across the net, veteran Gaël Monfils dispatched his challenger with a blend of power and finesse, also securing a place in the next round. Both matches unfolded on the hard courts of Stade IGA, where the Canadian crowd rallied behind the hometown hopeful. The tournament, part of the annual professional circuit, saw the young Quebecers celebrate a breakthrough moment, while the French star added another win to his extensive resume. The momentum now shifts to the upcoming round, where each player will look to build on today's success. Simon Fortier, GMNA News, Montreal.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on The Wrap. Tonight's look at the Chinatown revitalization effort showed how our city keeps evolving. We'll also follow the province's flood risk mapping plan and what it means for neighborhoods. Stay safe, keep the conversation going, and tune in tomorrow for more stories that matter to you. See you then.